Okay, so since the macrame portion is arguably the most difficult portion of this tutorial, I thought I would just speak through some of the steps for making just a simple square knot. So what you're going to do is you are going to have 4 strands in your kind of each piece that you have. And what you're going to do is with the leftmost strand, there will be 2 in the center and then a left one and a right one. What you're going to do is you're going to take the left strand and you're going to wrap it, kind of loop it under or behind the 2 center strands, but then immediately over the right strand, the one on the rightmost side. And then the right strand, what you do, hold everything together and just very simply loop that right strand through the little loop that's been created with the left strand and the 2 center strands. Just loop it through and then tighten it just enough that it looks clean. Not too tight though, because you're going to want to kind of leave this. This is going to be a kind of starting piece of the decorative portion of the macrame. And then just complete that and kind of finish that across the rod with all of the pieces. Okay, and then once you've done that, what you're going to do is you're going to take your strands and you're going to complete a second row of macrame. So you take 2 strands, one of the center ones and the left one, for example, or one of the center ones and the right one, of 2 of the pieces. And you just do the exact same knot that you did with one of the pieces, but do it with now 2 of the pieces using just half of each piece, if that makes sense. It looks kind of complex, but it's very easy. And so what you do is, again, you take the left strand, wrap it under or behind the 2 center strands that you see, but then immediately over that right strand, and then loop the right strand through the small little loop that's been created with the left strand and the 2 center strands. And then what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to, with this knot, repeat that immediately, but do it the opposite way. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to take the rightmost strand now, wrap it behind the 2 center strands, and then immediately over that left strand, and then loop that left strand up through the loop that gets created and tighten it. What you want to do is tighten the 2 center pieces so they kind of create that triangle, and then you want to kind of pull in a kind of center shape, or sorry, a circle shape. You want to kind of pull out those kind of outer 2 loops that get created. And this is just for the pattern. So you can tighten and loosen however you want. Everything should be pretty flexible and movable at this point in the process. But just try to make sure that you kind of have everything measured just the way that you're going to want, because this is kind of how it ends up looking. So now what you can do is you can just really simply complete this step as far down as you want to go. Since I decided to make this macrame piece into a door divider between well, I live in a loft, so I literally have no doors. So it's just going to be kind of standing out in the open, so I wanted it to be pretty tall. So I did complete a few more rows. I believe I did about 2 more rows after the previous one that you just saw. So just 2 more kind of rows of those same knots. Again, it's very simple and it will really make sense to you once you kind of get into it. So now what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to just take the strands, the pieces that you now have that have been kind of macrame down, and they should all still be kind of like attached within themselves, so there should be kind of very visible pieces. And what you're going to want to do is take each piece and just braid it all the way down. This is probably the most time-consuming portion of this tutorial. It probably took me about 2 weeks to complete the entire braiding process. So this is definitely something that I 1000% recommend that you return to and just enjoy yourself while you do it. Don't try to make this something that you finish in one go, because you will probably end up hating macrame, braiding, and the rope that you're using. And another great tip for this is probably to use a thicker rope than I used. The braiding portion of this would go a lot quicker for that reason. It maybe would look a little bit different. I really like the way mine turned out, but again, if you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit quicker, just definitely use either a variation of rope size or a thicker rope. And you are also more than welcome to twist if you aren't interested in braiding. Twisting works too. Just make sure that you create knots throughout the strand so that the twist doesn't unravel itself. But that's a really great alternative to the braid, and it ends up looking like just as stunning, and you're very able to kind of sew within that. Once you have completed the braiding kind of portion of the tutorial, what you're going to want to do is you can either take a hot glue gun, you can hole punch the flowers or whatever you're using to attach to this macrame door divider. And what you want to do is position the flowers or whatever objects you've decided, position those on your piece where you want them to go. And then you can take a hot glue gun, you can sew, you can hole punch and tie, whatever you want really. Like, it's totally up for experimentation here. I chose to sew because I'm totally comfortable doing that work, and it was, kind of the easiest I could think of. And it worked out really well. I think I just did kind of 2 threads through, and that's all it needed. So everything is really light and really dainty anyway, which is perfect for the door divider because you want to kind of walk through it on a consistent basis. So it ended up working out really, really well, actually a lot better than I was expecting. And the flowers I got from the dollar store I think it's the wedding section I'm sure lots of dollar stores have wedding sections, lots of stores have wedding sections, but that's where I found these kind of white flowers that I wanted. And these ones are made of foam, which was a really great material to use, especially for the sewing. It went very quickly, and it was really, really easy and a lot of fun. So once you have your completed door divider or your wall hanger, whatever you want to call it, you can hang it wherever you want. So I'm kind of thinking that I want to hang it in front of my bathroom door for as long as it doesn't annoy me. But then I might move it up higher on my wall because I really love the way it looks.